And we're going to kick things off on Pinhole Pond Brawl Ball, the beloved mode. These are our bans, the global bans, Spike and BB, together with Bull and Chloe. So I'd say the three best brawlers in the game out of the way here. Spike, we were a bit on the verge of, is he really good or is he not that good? Leon is going to be picked up first here. And that makes a ton of sense for me here on Pinhole Pond. With the lollipop drop, you now really easily get into the middle and you get sped up with it too.
I like it a whole lot. I think it's a really useful brawler to have, just generally speaking. Also, got to note what that hypercharge buff he does. It gives you up to, what, 75% of the close-up projectiles damage at long range. So, welcome back, high-powered long-range Leon pre-nerf. He's even stronger than he was then. Now Gale, the response from Legacy Esports. You think so?
Yeah, again, there's obviously like no tank picked up. Also, the think span to me indicates that they want to try and work some of these more projectile-based control brawlers in. So that doesn't exactly scream we're going to play tanks. It is Pinhole Pond. I get that. It might just be the, Legacy are trying to play to the map, but this is a relatively early Gale. It means they're really set on the idea of like running into a tank. And maybe you're banning the thinks because you want to play Meg. Right? She really struggles to get through. That's super, but we're going to see a Kenji picked up alongside the Gale.
Seeing Zulan back in the player cam honestly feels so right, but he himself did not manage to qualify yet for a monthly final. I'm glad he at least gets a chance to sub in here. Really wants to see what this squad of two rookies and Zulan can do here on the right-hand side. Now with Kenji and Gale, they have the aggressor and they have the counter against it. So I really like that setup. Also, Gale is going to do so well into that Leon. Chester, once more, would be my first pick. He's banned out. Otis as well. You can go so many aggressive brawlers still here because you don't really have anything against it. For now, they're going to go with something with a bit more range. They already have the Leon, and as I already mentioned before, that lollipop drop, putting it behind the wall there in the middle, the Pierce is just going to stand in there, shoot from afar. What do you want to do against him?
You need to have Kenji pressure him. That is what you have to do. You could also, like, get something that throws over walls or, like, a squeak or something that, would be able to take down a turret. Squeak, also, just like always, useful for anti-turret. But Pierce over here, I feel like, is going to be mandated to run the gadget that blasts people away, because Kenji is going to be aggressing you. Pierce hates when stuff gets in close range versus him, so it's very clearly countered. Now, with this shade coming in, this is a brawler that Sans just like spams because he loves it. It's really good. But if wall breakers come in, that completely dismantles it.
Yeah, sometimes though, like picking that wall breaking brawler can leave you short-handed in other aspects of your game. We're going to see the trunk come out here. I love this. This is obviously something that is, has to be respected here on the side of Only Realm. And I don't know if they sort of see this coming. The Gale has application, all right? Obviously, it can to some degree deal with the shade. Leon with a hypercharge doesn't have to be that close to do sort of high damage with his primary fire. He still does like minimum 75% under that condition. So there are ways to work around it, but I do like this Legacy comps. It's going to be a ton of fun to see it play out.
There are not that many ways to counter the shade, but Trunk is definitely one of those. I like to see him, and we haven't seen enough of him, honestly, in the whole month of the March monthly finals. First, a map here, Legacy versus Only Realm. Who will it be in semi-final number 2?
Only Realm, the Unks of the region, now in Legacy Esports, new blood, making it to their first monthly final as a squad. Most certainly this year, it's an early takedown for Patchy at mid as Only Realm grapple over control of this ring of bushes in the center. Zulan's going extremely aggressive, trying to take down Patchy, and has to abandon ship, just knows he's not going to be able to DPS through the Invisi-Heal. A lot of times you don't see Invisi-Heal even used at all. I don't think he was anticipating that.
Yeah, I quite like it. Patchy looking for a bit more durability here, and it seems as if Legacy Esports aren't quite ready. This is going to be a walk-in, folks. There's nothing Zulan can do to stop it.
So Zulan, what he needs to be doing is isolating this Pierce, and I just have to wonder why. Maybe he's decided that it's not worth it. I know I'm going to get gadgeted. Immediate aggression right off the bat from Legacy Esports. They're trying to swarm Only Realm, and Nerf in with a hypercharge will be rewarded with a kill. It's deep in the enemy side. Patchy off screen nails one down mid to kick us off with a game for Only Realm.
Nicely done. I like the idea of the Trunk last pick to answer the shade, but I think wholesale, the composition here for Only Realm is really challenging to try and go up against, and there's nothing that's really built in to answer the threat of the Pierce, right? Pierce is just free firing for a lot of this map, really easy to connect many of these shots. The damage is good against someone like Zulan. You can see him just getting nuked.
No.
What is Nerf 7 supposed to do? He's left behind the game. There's nothing really that Gale can do to answer the Pierce either. It's clear to see Only Realm have comp. They are rolling.
But this is what you do on ladder. Only on ladder can you walk straight forward and put that ball in the goal. Gale didn't have a super. It was so early game. It was in advance of him receiving the ability. Good slash there from Zion, like a bit more damage on Apache, but he's got no matchup versus Sands. He can't get through the wall. Literally getting clapped. Sands on his last legs. Nerf will get the upper hand there. Ball all the way at the goal. Nerf
Wait a minute.
Gets a takedown. It's wide open. That was not good at all. Where was the shot away? I'm shocked.
Yeah, it looks like Apache was not quite able to escape there. Just getting taken down in the 1 versus 1. You see a bit of tightening up here from Only Realms. They end up letting this game break down into a number of isolated skirmishes. There's probably no more connections. Here comes Nerf 7 though. Sands has to respect this, and there's not a whole lot you can do trying to stay out of the high damage zone by being on top of the trunk. Isn't enough, but Apache still runs it up. This is probably one of the more scrappy games of Brawl Ball that we've ever seen. But at least there's one team that can prevail against this kind of chaos, and it is Only Realm. Good start for them here. I still think they've got the powerful comp.
This is pretty rapidly back and forth. One thing that stands out to me for a Legacy is that they've gone with a couple of assassins, and you can imagine, yes, it's going to disrupt the mid control. Yes, you can take down the Pierce, but you have to earn your movement first, number one. Number two, what about your backlines? You've only got a Gale on defense. He doesn't have a pushback off the beginning of the game. It is not sufficient. Not even versus a Leon. How unlikely.
And that's exactly what happened. When Wink would fall, they had no defense anymore left. The Trunk and the Kenji already in the opponent's side of things. And yeah, nobody was left there. We see the Leon just walk up time and time again, score that one very sneakily. It was a try, you know. I really believe that with a better comp, it could have been a bit closer, but this one was a couple of the quickest ball games we've seen all month.
I think as good as the Gale can be against the Leon, it was horrifically bad here. Really completely outmatched, doesn't do anything to the shade most of the time, and Apache's able to close the gap enough on the Gale that even if there's like an attempt at blowback, the damage is still going to be there. And yeah, look who's free firing the whole round. Your boy Bobby, 555 DPS on this piece. There is no answer to the sharpshooter whatsoever.
And he always was a pretty good sharpshooter at that as well. Pierce is super strong in the current meta, and the only two teams who really play him at the moment, Only Realm with Bobby and Humble with Luki. Makes you think.
Yeah, makes you think a little bit. Yo, real quick, can I keep my job and say that I thought we were waiting on game number 2 until we headed to replays? It really went that quickly. Like, seriously, faster than I could register it. Set 1 already in the books for Only Realm. We're headed to knockout. Up next for set number 2. Hopefully, Legacy can get a grip on this. At least the pace is due to slow down in a mode such as knockout.
I'm looking at their drafting here. I don't want them to be tipping their hand too early in knockout. And there's a ton of these middle-of-the-road brawlers that do not imply too much about your overarching game plan that I'd like to see picked up. Just get Gus for me, or something like that. Something middle of the road, something straightforward. Angelo and Eve both banned out, so that only leaves Juju that could traverse the waterways, which is probably not really where you want to be, but people do forget that she can do that. Meatball also banned out pretty commonly. Leon here has really been a go-to on out in the open.
What I immediately see here, Leon left open, Brock left open, and those two have to be picked up here by either of these two teams. With this map, you can really only pick something on the left-hand side that can walk over water. Angelo and Eve, the best two, band out here, and then you can break open the map, which usually want to pick up Brock. Brock most often band out here on a map like this one. Leon on the right-hand side, is that just picked up because they do not want him on the other side again in Patchy's hands, or do they have a good Leon on their own hand?
I think they do have a good matchup here. I feel like Leon is first pick worthy in many circumstances. I am concerned, however, like talking this map in particular, are there better ways to get into mid quickly? What is going to threaten that lollipop drop? I feel like Brock can do that because Brock can, you know, get that AoE at the end of his projectile, hit things just around corners. The barrel is not going to be an issue for him at all. There are also plenty of other ways to take down turrets.
Rocket rain if you have to.
Yeah, like seriously. And the Brock also also, like, let's pivot and say that this is their way of getting into mid, okay? I think there are also ample options on the other side for Legacy to get into mid quickly. They could stick with the Leon. They could also float over the water. Like, they've got options.
I think this also makes Squeak pretty much unpickable. You really only want to pick that into a team that doesn't have wall break, so they've got to go through the singular choke. And again, RT, very safe option here. This is like, for me, almost like first pickable because it says nothing about what you're trying to do. And here's that Byron that gets picked up. Obviously, really good in a pinch and turning these fights on their head. You've got very good defensive setup here. Now the RT and Byron combine, like, you can't really dive that. The Crows are a bit of a trap. It was last month. They only won 1 out of 5 outings in NA. Everyone was trying to pick it up. And in general, Crows' win rate's been questionable.
Yeah, but what's really good against Leon? What can make him visible? A Reggie, maybe? A Crow? A Pearl? Those are all picks that they either already have or can still pick up. They're going to deviate from that plan, though. Jae Young is going to come in here, so they have the speed, they have the poison with the Crow. They can open up the map, so they're immediately in mid. Super, super quick gameplay that we're going to see here from Only Realm. On the right-hand side, I do really like that Baron pick up here alongside the Leon. Got to make sure that Nerf can actually get into mid, despite the other team already waiting for them there.
I mean, this would have been a Byron pick for Only Realm if possible, I think. With Global Band, this is about as good as it gets if you want that supportive brawler. Can offer you some healing. You got to respect Jae Young. Remember, Weekend Warrior's AoE, once you trigger that gadget, does go through walls. So don't get caught sleeping against this guy. He can actually slap you around if you get on the wrong side of his gadget. But of course, map broken up here by Bobby, and Only Realm into the map.
This is really crafty from Only Realm because usually just one brawler for getting into mid is sufficient, but they trust in their ability to spawn trap if they could properly storm mid. Here comes the Weekend Warrior. It's a lot of damage on Zulon. They don't have a way of getting over this wall, but it's kind of okay. It's going to be a bunch of healing from Sands. Keeps Patchy alive, and Patchy's poison persists to take down Zulon, dropping this to a 3v2. Only Realm are slated to win this by sheer numbers alone. Should be a takedown on Nerf coming in. Patchy in close range versus Wink gets pretty close to his super now.
Really heads up from Patchy. He almost overextended into trying to find that extra damage, but there was the heal from Jaeong that kept him in the game despite the cloak damage he was taking back. So the Brock here is a pretty big difference maker. This Lollipop drop is fated not to last very long. It's actually getting cleared fairly effortlessly. Zulan wants to try and close the gap here, but there should be a heal switch for Sands, and there it is. Burst heal is huge. Zulan just ceases to exist.
I just wonder why. Like, against an entire enemy team, they can rotate out, they can clump up, body block for each other. You were not going to get a pick off there, and even then, you would have died guaranteed. So maybe dropping things to a 2v2, like, is that favorable for Wink, RT? I'm not terribly convinced. I feel like that was a poor play. We'll see Patchy respond now onto Wink with a kill. 3v1. Only Realm takes this one 100%. Need to see fewer hero plays. I think, it's never wrong to try something new. We've learned from our mistake. It cost us a round. Don't send the Leon solo on this huge wraparound recon mission.
I have no idea why Wink supered Sands there while he was behind the wall. He bought Weekend Warrior, and then Wink throws his super at Sands, who just stands still and says, okay. Anything else? No? Okay. And then they dive with the Crow. Why are we using our Byron super before the Crow is diving in when he's obviously flashing super at you? So a couple issues there for Legacy. They need to have an answer to that all-in potential that Only Realm's comp has.
I'll tell you what, though, like, it's hard to look at a 2v3 and think, yeah, I can win this, especially against a team such as Only Realm. We saw Sands, Bobby go to the World Finals last year. Patchy qualified even though he didn't end up going. Legacy Esports know that this is a David and Goliath story in just a quarterfinal. And they're trapped in spawn also. Just not a good look, but of course this is what's naturally going to happen with Only Realm's brawler choices. So it's up to Legacy Esports to respond. It's basically inevitable that they find themselves here.
I just think this is a good comp from Only Realm. The Brock, for me, just clearing every lollipop drop is such an elegant answer. Okay, Jilan. Yep, that's a clone, of course. No, I thought it was a clone. Are we throwing for fun? No? Okay. Trying to go in with that all-in play, but again, you need to do that Jae-Yong healing, so very, very tough to burst through that. Now, on a 2 versus 2, the gas is starting to encroach. Both players tapped up here. Hack gadget available for Nerf, but he's not able to get close enough. This one was a pretty open and shut round, another solid win for Only Realm.
Only Realm 1 round away. They'll take position once more. So what does Legacy Esports respond with? Finally, an aggressive rollout. Nerf's going to go solo. Zulon was in the invisibility for a bit of extra speed as he moved forward. We'd love to see some supers from Legacy Esports. A Byron super for a kill confirm. We see it just now. But the Leon super combined also with the speed would be extremely useful. But as soon as that, they fall back into their spawn.
Okay, I like the placement Lollipop drop. It's a little further back, so you're going to get max duration. Well, not max duration. There was a activation of Weekend Warrior to put some damage on it, but still, you can see Legacy is thinking about how they can try and keep that gadget in play for as long as possible. So there was some damage that came in from the Byron there. Byron, a hypercharge is ready. Something that has to be respected here by Sands, who is spending much of this round trying to keep his teammates topped up.
Great play there from Zulon to take up a bunch of room on the left side. He used his invisibility and speed to get forward, but here comes the speed response from Sands. Hypercharge for Patchy just wrecks havoc on the enemy side. Now wraps around to pinch nerf and secure the set 2-0 style. And no expression at all on anyone from Only Realm. It's as if, oh, never mind.
An eyebrow raise.
A little eyebrow raise from Sands, a reaction here after a set victory. Yeah. One more until they go back to the semifinals. It's where they finished last time. They have their sights set on the finals, so a quarterfinals is just kind of required. They don't seem to be phased at all.
Just like the way they navigated draft, a really solid composition. It was nothing too fancy, nothing out of the box. It was questionable. I think there's some discombobulation on the side of Legacy Esports. Like when the game plan is to go aggressive with this Leon, it feels like Zulon is on his own.
The game plan is to go aggressive, but to not do hero plays, not as often at least. So if you, what was that setup? Stop with the hero plays.
I mean, I just said, are we throwing for fun now? Because he literally
I remember that quote as well, yeah.
A 1v2, yeah.
That jump pad play, it was a nice try, I guess.
I mean, I think if there's a plan for the rest of them, like, for example, are you trying to Byron super the landing location once you come off the jump pad? That's pretty nice. That can be good in a 1 versus 2 scenario. There you can really find success. He wasn't invisible, to the best of my knowledge. No, he was quite visible. Anyway, very difficult scoreline to read, I'll be honest. And not because my eyesight is declining in my old age. It's just making me cringe looking at it. Only the one kill, unfortunately, here for Legacy Esports.
I do want to remind us all here, this is the team that brought down Stamina, the second place of February, the runner-up, and Stamina lost 3-2 to this exact roster. We do have Zulon now, except instead of Juni. I don't think Zulon is that much of a downgrade. That's not what we know Zulon from. He has played esports in such a long time already, and he has been quite successful at it too. So if only, Juni was here, I guess, but I think Zulon should technically be an upgrade.
People really underestimate how much cohesion this game takes to succeed at, I think. And Zulon is an incredible individual. Like, don't get me wrong, and he's seen the highest of heights and some of the biggest stages in esports. But sometimes plugging into a team when your broad understanding of how to play the game is a little bit different, or at least you're feeling for timings or like what your instincts are, and you're going up against a team who actually has they're on the other end of the spectrum, right? Where like Bobby and Sands basically finish each other's sentences here, even if they only share a couple of brain cells, right? And Patchy, who comes in and knows these guys so well, has been around the scene for a huge amount of time. So like it's an uphill battle for Legacy Esports. I think even in their brightest moments, they're going to struggle here.
And that's exactly where I wanted to go. Zulon, a very strong individual, but the synergy just might not be there yet. They don't really have the scrim time that an Only Rem has together. They've been playing for longer than just this season together, Sands, Bobby, and Patchy. So super excited to see a bit more of them. Maybe those 2 first sets were just a little warm-up for them. I hope so, because those 2 sets have been some of the quickest we've seen.
Yeah, they've been madly efficient. Brawl Ball was gone in a flash, then not a single round response there on Knockout. Hot Zone can be a more extensive mode, but I said the same thing about Knockout too. A lot of times you see people pressed up against that poison. Sometimes we even saw it ending before that. In Hot Zone, if you win the zone and hold on to it for the entire time, it's no good. Here on Open Business, a spawn trap is very possible unless the walls are broken open, allowing for a more expanded couple of compositions.
I'm willing to like revise my opinion if we see a nice draft here from this Legacy team, because there's a reason why they're able to beat last month's finalists rather. So I just want to see them get off to the right start outside again.
So Legacy, time to lock in now. This is your last chance to show us what you played up against Stamina in the monthly qualifiers. Ruff is going to be their first pick. Very solid pick here. You can open up the map as Radio already mentioned, and you have it in your own hands now if you actually want to do that. If they want to pick some range with it, of course you break open the map, you can still just go tanks, and opponents can't really risk to pick up those tanks just now. We have a couple of tank counters open here. One of those is Nita, is going to be immediately picked up here. Not the most of range, but as long as the walls are still standing quite good. Kenji also usually needs some walls, so that's actually quite risky into that Ross.
Do we get like Barley or Berry or like a thrower that has healing capability? Do we go back to the well and get a Byron in the mix? I love Nita on this map. She obviously can make great use of that cover, provided the map isn't opened up, and the Bear obviously is amazing to create that space and create that zone. So I don't know if we're going to see Legacy veer away from this like opening up the map kind of idea. Obviously, Ruffs doesn't do a whole lot in terms of sandbags against this kind of setup. And Ems is going to be the answer. Someone whose effective range interacts really quite well with Kenji and Nita, respectively.
I'm looking at Kenji, however, getting aggressive on that Ems. Once he's in close range, then it's really poor for her. Like, she'll be able to blast him away, and guess what? He's going to dash right back onto her. Now, she is equipped with a lot of kit. She has Caustic Charisma, pop that one out, get some healing with Hype. You also get the shield if you have Hype equipped because of the new Buffy that came a couple patches ago. So, really useful brawler just in general. I see potential to be outranged. I think it's not going to be as useful when the walls are up. Gray as a mid. Really, really interesting. I feel like that should also be able to break down some of the walls. A couple wall breakers taken for Legacy so far. Only Realm due to respond with something that can react specifically to the enemy brawlers, because Nita is not going to cut it in the matchups.
Gray's so good on a map like this one because you can set up a double teleport once you have the hypercharge available to immediately get back into mid from spawn. So usually he's played together with a tank that can put this to good use, be immediately in your opponent's faces again. Neither Ems nor Ruffs really want to be in their opponent's faces. So I don't know if that has a lot of synergy, but I guess we're going to find out in the next few minutes.
Yeah, I guess like the hypercharge for Ems, you know, has this similar effect of friend zoner in that it shoves people back. So you can TP in and then pop that hyper straight away. Makes a lot of space for yourself instantly. Obviously, Ems really struggles against throwers. She doesn't have to worry about that too much in this matchup. But yes, I do think Kenji running at her will be an issue. You can see that Sans can get to the safe side of that cloud. Oh, I love that though. Beautifully done. Obviously now with the Buffy that in a friend zone has a knockback component, a stun component rather, and Sans was caught, but it wasn't nearly enough to take down the Kenji.
You can really get an understanding of what Only Realm think of their opponents when you watch Patchy walk in a legitimate straight line to the enemy side and take 0 damage along the way. And this has been happening all day long. It's how he got that first goal in Brawl Ball within only 8 seconds of the game starting. Only Realm to have domineering control of mid. They're going to have to respect this a little bit. That pull from Zulon didn't quite bump Patchy into any sort of danger. It didn't accomplish really anything, but at least he does have a hypercharged double teleport if he wants it. They got to act fast though, because they're behind by an insane margin.
Yeah, oh, good damage there from Nerf. Sans though able to avoid some of it and get some healing back, but the healing gadget actually isn't great against the damage that sort of comes distributed over time. Sans here, knocked away, of course, by Wink as the map is starting to get opened up a little bit, but it's coming, well, rather late in the day is the nice way of putting it. 85% of counting here. Zulan was healed, or shielded up, rather, from the use of that dimensional door, and this is kind of the idea, right? You get your M's through the TP, but Bobby was able just to clown on him in that situation at 98 and counting. Sans should be there to finish the round, and Legacy Esports, well, they didn't really turn up to that round.
No, not really at all. So where's the early game defense? Only Realm walked in a straight line. I cannot overemphasize that. And they got mid-control immediately. The gadget from Ruffs was not sufficient. They allowed enemies to take immediate control, and then they could not bring it back. The Gray teleports didn't really accomplish anything. It's a lack of synergy for Legacy Esports. I don't necessarily think it is the brawler selections alone.
Okay, friend zone they used. Sans is probably going to clean up that kill at the top of the screen. Yep, Nerf goes down, and that's a problem for Sulan, who gets left upon. Yeah, this might be even more one-sided. Now Sans is able to play deep within Legacy Esports' spawn and is happy to draw out these supers. Thank you very much. That Caustic Charisma now has no real impact outside of letting Legacy play the game.
Patchy forced to back up, but he does have a mute in case anyone walks in. Sans, meanwhile, is establishing the control. Now swipes back to take care of a freshly teleported Gray. You see an attempt at defense, also breaking open that wall so it's not as easy for Sans to spawn trap Legacy. But still, it's just not looking possible for Legacy Esports here. It's a little sad.
Yeah, immensely one-sided game so far. Sans getting good value off that slash Shimi, but eventually going to be brought down. Job done, though. He's made the space here for Bobby and Patchy to sun themselves on the point. Get that beach towel rolled out and basically play the game from the most comfortable position possible. That's an open and shut case for Legacy Esports. That's the match, folks. 3-0. Legacy quickly puts the sword.
Only Realm, they know better than to react here. because they were supposed to win this one anyway. It's a team with a transplanted third, Zulon coming to fill the shoes of Juni. Now, in his career, Zulon has accomplished far more than any of the players he is sharing a team with here, but the synergy was just not present, and I feel really, really bad for Wink and Nerf. This is their first monthly final. I spoke with Wink a little bit. He said, yes, it's my first. And they've been grinding for this for so long. They weren't afforded the opportunity to show up with their own player of choice, and then they got 3-0'd in kind of an embarrassing way.
But they're still top 8 in a region where we have
It's
some
true.
different teams every month so far. So still a huge success, and maybe they're going to be back maybe next time with their proper teammate. Again, I think Zulon is an outstanding player, but I think nothing beats synergy.
Is someone checking if Sands is awake? Bro is,
I mean, look at those 9 kills. I think he is.
he is extremely in a zen state after that performance. Yes.
That's the
let's-
cortisol level.
Yeah,
Low.
exactly. He's jester maxing there.